Hello everyone, we are joined by Rossy coming in after their game in VCT Americas today against Evil Geniuses. Hello Rossy, first of all, I know that it was a bit of a tough loss today, but I want to start off on a more positive note here. So even though you were down so bad in that first game, I think it was 9-4 or something like that, I'm not quite sure about the exact score. How are you guys able to keep that mental to make that comeback, bring it to overtime, and of course your amazing ace, what were you feeling during that?
I don't know. I was like, damn, I'm getting destroyed right now. That's what
Oh,
I was thinking. I was like, damn, I'm getting destroyed right now. But I mean, we weren't. I felt like not too much pressure on the first map. Yeah, we were losing, but we haven't scrimmed that map ever. We just made the change with Max or Demon One, so we never scrimmed the map at all. And I never played Killjoy before. So I literally came into the match. I just did whatever. Like I didn't even know what I was doing. I mean, it was cool to get the ace, I guess, but I wasn't really like, I don't know if the camera got it, but I was just like, all right, next round, because I'm like, we need to win. And I was just so tired of being in overtime. Like, oh my God, every game is so hard. I'm like, please, why can't we just have a game like 13-4, 13-5, like win? I mean, we got 13-4 the next game, I think, but yeah,
on your side, I presume you meant not on the other side. Fair
yeah.
enough. But yeah, I think that the Pearl game was really fun to watch for sure. And talking about you in particular, you spent that season playing in T1 for a bit, and then you moved back to NA. So how has that been? Shifting regions, playing in Pacific, coming back to NA after that.
I mean, I'm so blessed to have that T1 opportunity. It was the best year of my life. I wish I can go back. I would never want to play in NA again, truthfully, but yeah,
What
I
do
have
you
no
like so
interest
much
in.
about Pacific, if I could ask?
Uh, let me choose my words carefully here. Um, I think the overall goals, people treat the game like it's their life in Korea and in Asia. Their life is on the line every match, and they take it that seriously. Here, it is not taken that seriously, and yeah, I don't appreciate that. But I've learned, as you can see, I'm always smiling now, and I'm being a nice guy. So, I mean, I know people think I don't know, people think I kicked Inspire or something. It was like all my wrongdoing. I'm like the master manipulator, but I'm just a normal guy. Just I don't even say much. Oh,
Oh,
I don't
it's
really
okay.
say much. I don't really say much anymore. So I just close my mouth and smile and do what's best for the team, you know? That's my motto now. So
Like the
yeah.
penguins
I
from
mean I could be my
Madagascar, like smile and wave, boys, kind of vibe.
yeah, smile and wave. That's all. I've adapted from I no longer be myself. So I just always just smile and just hear say what people want to hear and listen. That's it.
Talking about, since you brought it up, I'm gonna ask because I'm sure that you're gonna get this a lot in the next few days. So I apologize in advance, but how did
No
Demon One
worries.
end up joining the team? I'm sure everyone's like losing their mind over this. So I really want to know myself.
It kind of just happened. Like on my end, it kind of just happened. Like one day we were playing like with Hunter, and then the next day we were not playing with Hunter. And I think that's the only thing I can say
Okay,
when it pertains to that. But yeah, it just happened very, very fast. Yeah, happened definitely like within like 12 hours maybe max.
okay,
No pun
okay.
intended.
I'm not gonna dig deeper. Fair enough. If you don't
I mean,
want to go,
that's the only thing I can say. Like, I don't
I
want.
understand that you don't want to create
There's no
controversy and
reason
stuff.
for me to
Yeah.
say bad things about someone or anything private. It's related to the team. It just happened really, really fast.
So my next question will be more regarding the meta. So it seems to be a very chamber heavy meta at this moment, especially in NA. So I wanted to kind of ask about the reasoning between putting Demon One back on smokes again. Like yes, I know he's played that role before, but we also saw him just pop off on chamber. So do you think perhaps he might have been better served on that agent, or are you guys still figuring out comps? Because I know, like you said, it's just been a couple days since you started playing, or a couple hours since you started playing. So I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, we definitely want to put Max on chamber. Definitely want to do it. It just with the four scrims that we literally had of practice with him. It just we asked him, we were like, "Yo, you want to?" And he was and we were like basically came down. We talked about it. We were like, "Okay, just keep the game, just keep the comps for now. Just to get buy us time. Like the goal was just try to do our best, obviously, win against EG, and then play against 100 Thieves, and then use that time to like maybe switch our comps after. But clearly, we didn't even get past the first step. So yeah, no, we're definitely gonna strongly consider putting him on chamber. Definitely,
I would love to see more of Demon One Chamber. I feel like it's kind
I
of
would
nice.
love to too.
Fair enough. I think that one more thing I wanted to ask, kind of related to today's game, was that last time you guys played EG, you kind of like bullied them. I mean, yes, there were like some rounds that were close, but what do you think was the biggest difference between that first game that you played against them and today's game, apart from, of course, the roster changes? or was that the only reason?
They had, I mean, EG, I mean, difference between the first game and this game, they have like heavy anti-strat. Like playing against them today, so much anti-strat. Like I don't even think, I think they could have had like a silver one IGLing them today. Wouldn't have mattered because they just have so much anti-strat on us. So they had really good preparation. So I'll definitely give them that. That was the one big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Besides that, no, I think they just won off anti-strat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they had some good performances, I believe. I remember like I saw like in Kuro, like two of them were like plus 20. I think it was DG's and Supa. They
DG's
just had
is
like it
having
was
a
like
game.
2v8. Yeah, they had like great games. So I think it was a lot of anti. It was just a lot of anti though. I'd say anti, and they had some good games. So yeah, well played by them. You know, they won. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. So I also wanted to ask you, this is more of a personal question for you. So if you could tell me one thing that you've perhaps learned from each of the teams that you consider significant, like as you've evolved in your career, because I know you've been on a bunch of teams. Of course, you've been with Lev after that T1 if a T1 time if I'm not wrong, and now you're in Envy. So I kind of wanted to ask like if there's one thing that you've learned from each of your teams, even the ones before that. If you want to bring them up, you're welcome to.
I mean, I'll just do all the tier one teams. I think it's easier.
Go for it.
T1, T1. I learned that there's a place that I could be myself, and people would accept me and appreciate me.
Mm-hmm.
C9. I learned that it's deeper than just playing the game. Lev, I learned absolutely nothing. Envy, Envy, I learned that I sh I learned that I'm glad I wasn't myself and on the team. Yeah.
That's a loaded statement. I really want to dig deeper into that, but I also feel like it's a bit personal, so I'm gonna let
No,
you.
I mean I can tell you just
So okay, fine.
I've
How are
just
you
been on
not
two.
yourself? I have to bite. Like, how are you not being
Oh
yourself?
yeah, I mean it's just like people. Okay, there's a thing that people say they want a lot of things like, oh, I want to improve, I want direct criticism, I want all these things, right? I want to be a better version of myself, right? People say they want to do that, but then when you do that for them, they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, that's just like one of the ways, you know what I mean? So
Me and my
I'm
rank
just a
games.
happy-go-lucky guy instead of just someone that constantly just wants to strive for like improvement, you know? And yeah, I just focus on myself. People say, "Oh, we want someone that's a really good team player and cares about the other team." No one wants that. Just mind your own business and play the game. And that's what I've learned from playing in America. That is what you need to do to keep a job for a while.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of horror stories for sure in terms of like players getting kicked from teams early, and of course, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you've been like the victim of that as well early on, despite like incredible performances. I remember your time with C9. I was really annoyed when they did that too, for the record.
It's okay. It's okay. Everything
It's
happens
really
for a reason.
shitty to hire like side a player and have them like basically MVP and then kick them and give like a really absurd reason online. Like I don't know. I feel like if you're running an org, you need to have like I don't know. You need to have like more spine. I don't. I would say like a
I
worse
don't. I
word,
actually,
but
I
it's
actually don't
very
agree with
common.
that, to be honest.
Oh really?
Like, it's a business at the end of the day. It's a business like, yeah, in a perfect world, what you're saying is correct, but it's not a perfect world, right? We're all
Yeah.
humans. We all have weaknesses. We all do bad things, right? Like we're humans. We're always gonna do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what really is bad if everyone's doing it? You know what I mean? So it's just you have to look out for yourself and be selfish, you know. And it's absolutely. I told you, like yeah, I said this forever ago. Like I don't blame them at all. I don't blame any team for doing that. It's their best interest. They did what's best for themselves, and at least what they thought was best for themselves, right? So I completely respect that, and I have no hatred towards that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty mature attitude to have for sure. Talking about you joining Envy, kind of how did that happen? You know, if you like, did someone just come and ask you like, hey, you want to join since our players are unable to play, or you know?
Um, well, I have a relationship with Stunner because he was my assistant coach on T1,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember he was telling me like, "Oh, we might give you a tryout. Probably not though, because of like my reputation and all these things, and there was better prospects they wanted. They had like a lot of people try out ahead of me, and they were like basically like, you're like kind of like a if we don't get these people, then we'll give you a tryout. So the only reason I got a tryout was just because he worked with me on T1 and realized that I'm not a terrible person. So that was it basically. Like basically they just ran through the tryouts and then they were like, okay, we're gonna go with him. And then I believe they were gonna go with someone else, but something came up where they couldn't have picked the person they wanted, and they ended up with me.
Hey, if it
That's
makes you
really about
feel
it.
if it makes you feel better, PaperX won at Envy last year, and they got Patman instead because Alex wanted a player who had experience with sports teams, but also hadn't touched any other game apart from Valorant, and they won a Masters trophy. So who knows?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, hey, I'm here. I'm just grateful and blessed that I'm here. And I don't care how it is. I could have been the the last option, and if I got it on the team, that's amazing. I'm happy by me. Try to get some money.
So talking about building team chem, I mean, you were like one of the newest joinees on this team, and now you've got Demon One coming in as well. So how do you think you can really kind of build that team chemistry? Or do you because I think that some of the teams that are playing the best are teams which have that kind of sense. If you look at EMEA, for example, BBL is killing it coming in from Ascension as well. So how do you kind of like build upon that from your experience?
I think, yeah. It kind of evolved for me, my thoughts on it. Like, I used to just think like you just gotta play the game and do your best every day, come into practice, try your best every single day, and just worry about the in-game stuff. But then I kind of realized you kind of need to do like a lot of the things, like do like extracurricular activities, like go out to team dinner, talk about, like that's where you get the most productive talks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say just in and out of game, just really try to hang out with people as much as possible and just be honest with each other. I think if you can't be, or at least semi-honest with each other. So if you can't do that, it's gonna be really hard. I think the winning champions don't happen by mistake. They never
Mm-hmm.
do. It's always a reason. People always probably hear about it a lot of times. Some of the teams, they hated each other, but they always respect each other in game because they pushed each other so hard. So you always hear that. You never hear, oh, the team that won champs was a bunch of friends. Like you always hear it's like, oh my God, it was so hard to work there. Like all these little things. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
about it. You just gotta.
power through, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta power through. You gotta power through. I mean, right now we're at a tough spot,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. So we just gotta power through. If we're truly gonna meant to be champions, we'll power through and come out on top. If not, we're not meant to be. So
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Fair enough. Second last question. The current meta, it seems to be like I don't know. The historical role of Sentinel kind of seems to be dying out. Like everyone's running double duelist, or teams like to run maybe double initiator. I've seen some teams in EMEA do that. Also double controllers. Everything except Sentinel basically. Sentinel just seems to have been like trashed in the bin. So I don't know. What's your opinion about the current meta, so as to speak?
I think it's really good for us. Like Yoru's strong. I mean, as long as Yoru's strong, we'll be fine. Until Yoru's not strong, may God help us. That's all.
Has anyone, out of curiosity, has anyone ever asked Dexter to play anything else, or did the man just say, "I'm only gonna play Yoru. I don't care. I'm playing Yoru no matter what."
I asked him like a hypothetical. I was like, "Yo, what would you play like if?" Or I asked him like, "What did you play before Yoru came out?" Because Yoru wasn't one of the original agents, obviously.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
like, he was like, "I played Jet and Reyna." I was like, "Okay." I think
Fair
that's what he
enough.
said. I'm like 900% I said, now I think maybe he could play like what has a TP Chamber Omen maybe.
Waylay?
That's what maybe I don't know. Like I'm just guessing like you are. You know what I mean? I don't know. I never really talked to him about that. We never really had time to talk about hey what happens what happens if Yor gets nerfed.
I mean, he's already been nerfed. It's getting worse and worse, I swear. Like, even in the current meta, he still picks so much, although I do see Waylay, like, getting an uptick. But anyway, I gotta do more analysis on that for sure. Alright, my last question before I let you go for today. What do you think are the most important things you guys need to fix ahead of stage one?
Shit, everything. I mean, we have a brand new team basically. I mean, if you think about it, it went from Rankers to Envy, and then minus Kane, minus Ion, minus Inspire, and now there's only two soldiers left. I might cut one of them soon, honestly. I might take one down myself, another one. I might just make a full revamp. So I don't know. We'll have to see. No, I'm like,
No, it's just, it
I mean,
becomes like that ship of Theseus, right? Is it still rankers if everybody leaves? Hmm.
yeah, it's like this is not like as much as I mean, we'll try to. I think we'll try to keep playing the same way. You know what I mean? Maybe we won't. I think we have a lot to talk about now. We have a
Mm-hmm.
whole different player. Like it's we have three basically different players. Like we played our first match. We had our first day together as a team on our first match day. Like Kez was literally in Chile, and now we have Max. Like so much has changed within the past 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to say. I don't even think I was on the team 2 months ago. Like what? That's 2 months ago is December 6th, right? That's what that is. Yeah, December 6th. I don't even think I was on the team December 6th. Like so much has changed. So I would say everything.
Everything. Fair enough. And I'm just gonna ask you some quick fire questions. You can just answer them. Favorite agent to play? It doesn't have to be something you actually play in VCT. It could be anything.
Sova.
all the things I did not expect that, because either people answer duelist or people answer like something really weird. I think you're like the second person who told me Sova, but the other person plays Sova all the time.
Sova or
So
Fade or Tejo, like any of the scan initiators, I really like playing.
I think Verno gave me the same answer, but he said Tejo kind of sucks. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Tejo does kind of suck, but like Sova and Fade,
chef's kiss. I agree. What agent do you
beautiful.
hate playing against the most?
Hate playing against.
You know, see him on the opposite team, and you're like, oh shit, I don't want to do this.
Loki Cypher, yeah. Cypher's hard to play. Okay, Cypher online is easy to play against. Cypher offline is like, because you can't hear anything, so it's kind of hard. Like Cypher, like you're just like running into trips sometimes. It's really annoying to play on some maps, or even Deadlock sometimes. Cypher or Deadlock, I'd say those two.
Annoying, fair enough. And what's your favorite map and least favorite map? Again, it can be any map. It doesn't have to be the ones currently in the pool.
My favorite map. I like Icebox. Yeah,
Okay.
Icebox would be my favorite. Least favorite?
Like, you know, you'd be loaded up and you're getting in a game of ranked and you see it and you're like, oh god, not this
There's no
again.
maps like that. I guess Fracture. No, but I like it in pro play. It just in ranked, it's so boring to play sometimes. Like I'd say Fracture is like one of the only maps, but every other map, it's pretty good. I mean, I like every map. I like even Fracture. I like. I just think the only one I can think I don't like is Fracture and ranked. That would be my
Fracture
answer.
in ranked. Very, very specific. Alright, cool. And yeah, I mean, that's about it for me in terms of questions. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I would ask you a couple more questions about the team, but I think I don't know if you have answers for them yet because you said you're new. But you know what? I'm gonna do it anyways. Who's the person who's like most chill on the team, like calmest person on the team?
Most chill? Me.
Okay, I can kind of see
Now
that.
Max probably. Now Max probably.
Really,
But
Demon One, the
yeah,
calmest person on the team. I don't think I've ever heard that from anyone, but it's nice to hear.
he's too chill. I think me or Max. Yeah.
Okay, and who's the person who's like most likely to rage? If you want to plead the fifth, you can. It's okay.
No, I don't care. Um, I'm trying to think. Like, I'll say Poppin. Poppin. Poppin is most likely to rage.
Fair enough.
Oh.
And who's like the person who's most likely to overheat and stuff?
To overheat?
Hmm.
Pick him out of a hat. No, I'm playing. Uh,
You can say everybody. It's okay.
no, I know, no. Who's most likely to overheat? I swear, Poppin.
Okay.
Poppin or egg? Poppin or egg? I'm going Poppin.
Pop
First
it.
answer, Poppin. Lock it in.
Fair enough. Lock it in. Done. And last question: who's the funniest person on the team?
Me.
I can kind of see that, you know. But
Me,
Loki.
but but if it's not me, I'm biased towards Kesnet.
Fair enough.
But I think Kez is bad funny. I don't know. Our whole team's kind of. Actually, okay, I'll break it down to you. I think I'm the funniest because I have an ego. I'm biased towards Kesnet being the funniest, but the real funniest is probably Exter because he does not try to be funny and he's hilarious.
I think that's the best. Those are like the most funny people. They don't realize they're being funny, but they're so goddamn
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's a fiesta, clown fiesta with Exter.
Ah, Honeybear, 100%. I agree with you. I don't know about the clown fiesta part, but I agree with you about the fact that funny people don't realize they're being funny. Anyway, I think that's about it for my questions. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. This is actually one of the more fun interviews I've done, so I really appreciate it.
I'm glad. Thank you so much for interviewing me.
Thank you.